Gluten Morgan, everyone. Today I'm going to make a test. Yes, I'm going to bake bread. Wow. Now I know I always bake bread here on my channel, but today I'm going to compare these two breads that I have here. On my left hand, I have a all-purpose flour or bread flour, white flour, 100% that flour, and on my right side I have 100% whole wheat flour. The recipe and the formula is the same, only I am changing the flour. So let's start baking first, and then I'll show you how I did this bread. These are my two Dutch ovens, which are preheated pretty high, and they are ready to bake. So let me prepare this one, and let me prepare the other one, so I can take both breads to the oven, which is also preheated. Okay, I'm gonna put this one here, and this one there. A little bit of flour there, on top of the bread. Here's one, here's the another one. Come and take a look before I bake them. This one is the whole wheat flour, and this one is the white flour. So both has been cold fermenting for around 15 hours in my fridge. So they are ready to be baked right now. Okay, let's go first with the white one, or the bread flour, and here the whole wheat flour. Both breads weigh around 700 grams. But as you can see right now, in this moment, the volume is totally different. The white one, or the bread flour, is a little bit fatter. and this one, the whole wheat flour, it's a little bit more tight. So, okay, that's for the beginning. So let me score it. There. Okay. Let me check if it's okay. Always use a sharp blade for this. Good. And now let's go with the second one. The whole wheat flour. Good. Let me check again if it's everything okay. Good. So now I'll cover them with the lid, and I'll take them to the oven. It's going to be heavy. Closing number one. Closing number two. And let's go to the oven. Ooh, this is heavy. Wow. Come on, let's go. Ooh, it's heavy and hot. It's not dangerous at all. Oh, okay. Ooh, here I am. So here is my oven, which is preheated at high temperature. So now let me put the bread flour bread on the left side and the whole wheat flour on the right side. Good. Gloves off, and I'll give them 20 minutes with the lid. So let's go back to the lab so I can show you how I did these breads. Come with me. Good. So first, let's talk about the recipe. As I said, it's the same formula. The only thing that I change is the flour. So here is the formula of the white flour bread, the all-purpose flour or bread flour. As you can see, we have a 75% hydration. And now here is the same recipe with whole wheat flour. Same formula. Remember that you can download my app, Gluten Morgan Baker's Percentage, for free. And here is the link for Android and an iPhone. Okay, so let's talk first about flour. We have two flours, as I said. The bread flour that could also be all-purpose flour, and then I have whole wheat flour. So what I have to do is to make a test to see which one is the best. Oh, that's for me. Sorry, that's my coffee. I always drink coffee while I'm recording a video. This is not my sponsor. Excellent coffee. So, as I said, I have two kinds of different flours. This white or bread flour, and here I have two different whole wheat flour. The thing is, what I'm looking for, or what I am trying to achieve, is to get these two breads as close as much as I can. Of course, always the bread baked with or made with bread flour is always going to get a better volume. Is going to be more of a visual rather than the whole wheat flour. Sometimes it's a little bit more smaller. Maybe the oven spring is not that good. Always with white flour or bread flour, you're going to get it's going to burst in the oven. And sometimes the whole wheat flour, they're kind of smaller. But to try to achieve a result mostly the same, it's not going to be the same, but trying to make them close as much as I can, I did an experiment with both flours to decide which is the right one that I need. So on my left side, I have the bread flour, and I have one from supermarket, regular bread flour from supermarket, and I also have a strong flour with more a strong bread flour which is made or meant for bread. This is a professional bread flour, and this is just a supermarket regular bread flour. And on my right side, I have two whole wheat flours. The first one is this one, supermarket flour, regular bread whole wheat flour, and then I have this one, which is bio or ecological whole wheat flour. So I'm going to make this, which is called autolyze. For example, I have here 100 grams of flour, and I'm going to add here 75 grams of water. Which means it has a 75% hydration. That's a hydration of the breads of today. So I'm going to do the same here just to check the membrane, the gluten network of the flour. So I have 100 grams. Now I'm going to mix them. No kneading at all, just mixing, and let them sit here on the counter for around 1 hour, and to let the proteins of the gluten to develop this network by itself. And that means that the dough is perfectly kneaded. I just need to mix them, nothing at all, just like this. Take a look at this, it's really easy. So I'm not kneading at all, it's just mixing water and flour. So this way I'm going to make this experiment. So I've done this at the beginning of the video before I start recording the video for you to see. So here I have the bread flour and the whole wheat flour. Let's check the membrane of the first flour from the supermarket. This is a regular supermarket flour, same grams, 100 grams of flour, 75 grams of water. And I'm going to check the membrane of the flour. Come here. Oh, it's a little bit sticky. That's not that good. And let's check the membrane. As you can see, it's translucent, but it's a little bit sticky. I think that, yes, it's breaking apart. So that's what I'm looking for. I am looking for a good membrane. This one is okay, but I think it's on its limit. I think that 70, maybe 65 could be a better hydration for this kind of flour. So this flour, I am not going to use it. Let's check the professional flour. This one, the strong wheat flour or bread flour. To see. Now, as you can see, it's more firm, and now I can stretch it easier. It's stronger. It's more resistant. That means that the gluten of this flour is more resistant or better for baking bread. So that's what I'm looking for. Take a look at this membrane. It's not tearing it apart. There are no holes yet. Okay, so this is the kind of flour that I'm looking for. Maybe I could rise up the hydration of the flour and take it up to 80, 85. But today I'm holding it at 75, which is the same hydration for both breads. So this is the flour that I'm going to use. And on the other hand, I have these two bread flour, whole wheat flour. This is one from the supermarket. Let's check it out. How much is it? The thing with the flour, the whole wheat flour, the difference between these two is that this one is made with the whole grain. The 100% of the grain is here. So it's more complicated for the gluten network to develop because there are many particles of the whole wheat floating around. So the it's not that bad, but it's not as good as the white flour, as you can see. And still, we have no holes. Well, there's coming one hole, but take a look. It's translucent. It's not that bad. But take a look. There are a lot of pieces of the grain. So those pieces of the grain, sometimes they stay in the middle in the middle of these two proteins that are trying to make the membrane, the gluten network, they stay in the middle, so the gluten network is not that strong as the white flour, the bread flour. But this one looks okay, and it's a supermarket flour. Okay, now let's take a look at this one, the organic flour, and let's see how it responds to 75 hydration. Well, I'm telling you that this is not good. Take a look at this. There's almost no gluten development. Well, full of holes. So this means that I cannot use this flour. Take a look. It's really easy to break it. So this flour, it's not good for 75% hydration. But maybe this is an excellent flour because it's biological, it's good for the ambience, for us, for everything, but not for baking bread, or maybe not baking bread at this hydration. That's what you have to check when you buy flour. So that's what I wanted to show you doing this test, that you can easily see how the flour is going to respond to the hydration that you're going to do. So 75 hydration, it's okay for some flours, not for all the flours. So the flours that I am using for the white flour, for the white or the bread flour, the white bread is the strong bread flour, and for the whole wheat flour, I'm going to use the supermarket flour. So I have here two bowls, and I'll start with the recipes. I will also use the autolyze method, which is really easy when we are working with sourdough. I'm talking about sourdough. Here are my both sourdough starters. This is the white one, and this is a whole wheat. No, whole wheat, no, sorry. This is whole rye. This is made of rye, and this is made of bread flour. Take a look at them. Look at all the bubbles that it has. It's perfect, super active, ready to work. Take a look at this. It's like a mousse. Always use your flour, your sourdough starter when this like this, full of air. Take a look at this one. Wow, beautiful. Both sourdough starters are really active, ready to use. If they're not looking like this, you shouldn't start baking your bread. Just feed them again and then start the bread. Okay, it's like using yeast. If you use a yeast that it's not active or it's lost, then or it's expired, then you can use them. So this is the same thing. This is yeast, natural yeast. Okay, so let's start with the bread flour bread. So I put the bread flour here, the strong one that I decided that I was going to use. Now I go with the sourdough starter. Wow, take a look at this. Good. And then I have salt and water. The salt I am going to add it in a few minutes, and then I add only the water. So, okay, the water, and with my Danish whisk, I'm going to mix this. No kneading. I could use perfectly my hands and knead with my hands or use my mixer. But today, and since I'm working with sourdough, where we have plenty of time, so I can use this method. It's always good to use your hands and work with the dough so you can feel it and feel the difference. That's the thing. So take a look at this. This is really easy to do. Always check that the flour that you're going to use is suitable for the hydration that you're going to use in the recipe. That's key. So with this simple experiment that I show you, you can now find out in seconds, but not in seconds, in an hour, which is the right hydration for the flour that you have at home. Okay, so this one is ready. Mixed, no kneaded at all, no added sugar yet. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the whole wheat flour, with supermarket whole wheat flour. Here comes the sourdough starter. 1 spoon, good. And now I go with the water. Perfect. So the same thing. Now I'm trying to hydrate the flour, and that's all. The salt, I'm going to add them later. So remember that if you want to learn more about sourdough bread and sourdough starter and how to keep it, how to build it, and a lot of things, of course, there are many videos here on my channel, but I also have my masterclass in sourdough bread, and I also have another one with my friend Richard Bertinet. He's a well-known French baker who lives in England, but we both made this other sourdough masterclass. So here is the link for you to start today if you want to learn more about the world of sourdough. So, good. Both doughs ready. Well, the first part, the autolyze, it's not yet done, just I mix them, and now we have to let them sit here for an hour till the autolyze it's done. But I have them already mixed. I did it in prior 1 hour before we started baking the video. So take a look at them. This both. There you have them. The white one and the whole wheat. So I started like this. And this is 1 hour later. And take a look at them, how they changed. Just with time. Let me water my hand and take a look. This was just mixed. And now, take a look at the gluten development. Perfect. This means that we did a good job. So the hydration that I used for this flour was the right one. And here I have perfectly kneaded dough. And the same happens with this whole wheat flour. The same thing. Take a look. They feel different. As you've seen at the beginning, when I mold both breads, they also look different. And here, they also look and feel different. On my hand, I can feel the particles of the whole wheat flour. But that's the experiment of today, trying to achieve or trying to get as closer as I can with this to this. So, both doughs are kneaded. Now, what I have to do is to add the salt, the last ingredient. Now I just need to mix to incorporate the salt in the dough, and that's all. Really easy. And I haven't kneaded at all, just waited an hour. That's the interesting thing about the gluten. And when you choose the right flour and the right hydration. Good. Take a look at this. Perfect. Good. If I would have used the other flour, maybe I wouldn't have achieved this kind of gluten development. And also with this one, with the bread flour, it's going to happen the same. I incorporate the salt on it, and it's almost done. That's all. Really, really easy. Take a look at it. Beautiful too. With the other flour, if I would have used the bio flour, the ecological flour, this result I wouldn't have get it. So it's key to always know what kind of flour you're using. Good. So now I have both those ready with all the ingredients incorporated, and now I need to let them rise. Since we are working with sourdough, you know, sourdough is slower than yeast, so this is going to take a while, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. It depends on the room temperature. It should be not that cold and not that hot. So maybe in your kitchen you have a good temperature. So both those need to rise, and here they are. Here. It's fast. Okay. Here's the whole wheat flour, and here's the white flour. Take a look at them. Both beautiful, but take a look at the difference of volume. Both weigh the same, 700 grams. And here, this one is much bigger than this one. But both are the same recipe, same grams, everything. Only what I've changed is the flour. So now it's time to shape the breads. With a little bit of flour here. Let me unmold this. And take a look at all the bubbles that this dough has. This means, this is because we're using a white flour. And here, take a look at the same time at the whole wheat flour. Take a look at the difference. They're both different. This one is more fluffier, and this one is not that much. Come closer. Look. This one. See how fluffier this is? And this one is fluffier, but not as much. So here we have another difference. Okay, so now time to shape them. Really easy. Just give them some tension. I don't want to degas it that much. I don't want to lose all the air that the dough has inside, so I can get a better dough. And now I just roll it like this and close the ends. here. Excellent. Here's one. And here's the other one. Much easier. This one has less gas than the other one, but it's perfectly fermented. Good. Let me close this. And let me close this. I think that the oven is about to ring in any second. It's going to call me in just a second. So let me put some flour on top of this one, and take a look at this. Both looking beautiful, but the volume is different. Whole wheat, white. Same weight, same formula, only I change the flour. So here goes the white one, and here goes the whole wheat flour. So both breads are ready. They're shaped, but they're not ready to be baked. I've started the video baking the breads, which are there in the Dutch oven, and I need to see now what's going on. And now I cover them, and these ones go back to the fridge, still in a slow and cold fermentation until tomorrow. So good. I think it's time to go and check the oven. But first, let me finish my coffee. It's cold. Okay, let's go. And let's see what's going on in the oven. I always, when I open the lid, I remove the lid. It's always a mystery. Okay. It's almost done. 30 seconds. And I think it's okay. Good. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. I'll go first with the white one. And here's the white. Okay. Let's see. And wow. Beautiful. Take a look at this oven spring. Beautiful here. Excellent. And now I want to see this one. What's going to happen here? Wow. Beautiful too. Excellent. But as you can see, the volume is not the same as I supposed that it was going to happen. But both breads are looking beautiful. So, okay. Now I need to let them here for around 20 more minutes. There. Okay. I'll see you in 20 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Time to take them out of the oven. And take a look, they're gorgeous. Wow. Woo. Take a look at this. The bread, flour bread. Beautiful oven spring. Oh, it's hot. And then put it there. And take a look at this one, the smaller one, but nice ear too. Nice oven spring. Okay, good. So let's wait till they cool down and we continue. So here are both breads, the bread flour and the whole wheat flour. At first sight, what we see is the volume, the difference in volume. But both had an excellent oven spring, though. So this one, of course, the bread flour always gets bigger volume rather than this one, whole wheat. But I really like the ear of this one because I bake it at the right time. The whole wheat flour sometimes ferments faster than the bread flour. So you need to bake it at the right time in order to get a beautiful oven spring and an ear like this one. And take a look at it. It is hollow and it's light. That's interesting when making 100% whole wheat or whole wheat flour. So that's key. And this is also light, hollow, as this one. So I didn't achieve the volume of this one, but taking that apart, they look almost the same. 100% whole wheat flour and white flour. The crust in both are beautiful. Of course, this one is golden. This is browner than this one, or darker than this one. But this one has also some kind of this bubbles here on the crust. That means it was cold fermented. These blisters that it has here, little bubbles, means that it was cold fermented. And it's really, really, really light. Here I don't see any. Oh, man, yes, I can see some of them. Some blisters here or there. Oh, interesting. But I really like the ear that it has. And let's hear them. Oh, beautiful. And let's see how it sounds. Oh, good too. They're still warm. They're not yet cold, but let's open them up and let's see what we feel. Let's go with the white one. Oof. Nice, even crumb. Beautiful. And take a look at it. It's thin, really thin. This is because I baked them at a high temperature. So then you achieve a thin crust, crispy, and see how soft at the same time this bread is. Excellent volume. Beautiful. It looks like a rabbit. And now let's open up this one. Whole wheat. Take a look at it. Ooh, beautiful too. It's still warm. I can see the steam. And it smells incredible. Nice crumb too. Take a look at it. Nice crumb. Even crumb, few holes over there. Also the crust is thin and crispy. It is really soft too. It's fluffy. Good piece of bread. So, the volume, as I said, it's not the same. Let me open this one. It's not the same. But the shape is the same one. So we had an excellent oven spring here on the whole wheat flour. This one has a beautiful volume. But taking that, I think we achieved a good piece of bread too. So it's good to get an excellent piece of bread, the whole wheat bread, because you have all the fiber, the minerals, and if you can bake it with an organic flour, it's even better. This time I couldn't. The supermarket flour was better this time, but maybe yours it's better. So always check that. Check the membranes and check the hydration of the dough before mixing everything. So then you can get these excellent results. So I think it's time to taste them. Let me taste first the white one. Oh, the sound is incredible. See how soft the crumb is? The crust is so thin and crispy. And it tastes incredible. It's just flour and water and salt and thyme. That's the secret to get tasty bread. Excellent. It doesn't need butter, anything. Now let's try whole wheat flour. And take a look at it also. The crust is thin, really fluffy, so tender and moist at the same time. Let me check how it is. This is an excellent bread. 100% whole wheat flour. When you do it like this, with time, you get excellent 100% whole wheat. Sometimes when you buy 100% whole wheat flour bread, you get a heavy bread with not an airy crumb. They taste like dry. It's a dry bread. But when you bake it at home, when you use sourdough, you can get this excellent piece of bread. So, well, I hope you have enjoyed both kind of breads. Here they are again. So leave me in comments, what do you think about this new test, this experiment? Which one is your favorite? And I'll see you on the next video. And remember, may the gluten be with you. Whoa.